It is exactly 1:55 a.m. on Sunday, July 27th, 2025. I've just had to leave a third voicemail for the Greenville Group over the last 8 hours now regarding the fact that Jasmine Irizarry, their paid sponsored career criminal harasser, has been engaging in the use of a directed energy weapon almost continuously for the last 12 hours now. She started using this directed energy weapon this afternoon, right around maybe 12:30 or 1 p.m. when I started to block her from being able to hear and see things that I was doing and eating in the privacy of this living space. I made a video yesterday about how each time I put something in my mouth, try to eat something, drink water, put a toothbrush in my mouth, put on lipstick or lip gloss, the psycho directly below in 76, who is presumably the same sex offender, psychopath, who's been doing this for years, Jasmine Irizarry, becomes violent, agitated, and aggressive when I swallow, when I chew, when I eat food. So not only did I have to put on a mask yesterday to protect my mouth from this perving, creeping pieces of shit's unwanted attention, but I also have to use sound devices to prevent this piece of shit from being able to hear me chewing and swallowing or doing other things like brushing my teeth. It seems to trigger this malignant sex offender into getting violent and slamming things repeatedly directly below my bed. Right now, it is not quite 2 a.m., as I just mentioned, and the piece of shit directly below in 76 has suddenly started making repeated violent slamming and banging noises directly below my bed. They are deliberately propagating intense and sickening amounts of cigar and marijuana smoke that are actually coming from directly below, because I can smell it most intensely when I stick my head out the window, and I have had to open my window at least 1.5 feet, 2 feet now. Yeah, so this is how wide I've had to open this window, and there's no screen due to the intense and sickening amounts of cigar and marijuana smoke that this piece of shit directly below in 76 is right now at this moment suddenly starting to propagate into my living space. This is a very mentally disturbed psychopath and sex offender who has been doing this for 11 years. First, from the bathroom directly behind my kitchen sink in my bathroom, which is the bathroom of 78. That is where Oleg Eliseyev, the property manager, housed a psychopath and a sex offender named Jasmine Irizarry officially and continuously between 2013, when she began engaging in this very unusual, highly noticeable, and irreproducible, meaning nobody else can act like this, exactly the same pattern of behavior in 2013. It immediately started up. And even back then, other tenants on the floor were like, what the fuck is going on with that? Meaning Irizarry, that thing in there. She would slam and bang things, screech and shout. She has a hyena-like screeching laugh that she literally unleashes in people's direction when she comes within a few feet of them. Ms. Irizarry was actually at Back Bay Station, standing near the entrance doorway to the Amtrak platform a few weeks ago when I was taking the train down to Connecticut, and she was standing right by the doorway as I was approaching the doorway to that platform, just to let me know that she was also on her way to Connecticut. Ms. Irizarry is a paid career criminal harasser, as multiple people have told me, and she's not really a legitimate tenant of the Greenville Group, although she is a mentally disturbed sex offender and a psychopath who was at the Shattuck Hospital back in 2006 as an inmate when I was doing a clinical rotation there as part of my PhD program training. Now she's living in this building, and I'm not sure how she ended up here, but she's been here for 11 years, and she's been engaging in the same exact identical pattern of constant surveillance-based stalking, harassment, and physical harm for 11 years. So this kind of video that I keep having to make in the middle of the night because the psycho directly below me in 76 is suddenly violently slamming things around while I'm lying on my bed trying to sleep. And they're using a directed energy weapon because somehow the position that I happen to be lying in gets them all triggered and worked up and jiggy with their electronic assault device. And the only way that they have to let me know that they're getting all jiggy and worked up is to electronically assault me with this directed energy weapon that they have bragged in multiple written comments that they are using, and have made very detailed observations about their use of that directed energy weapon that only they would have knowledge of. the level and intensity of the use of this device, for instance, which is something that only I would know because I am the one on the receiving end of that directed energy weapon. This person is being sponsored by the Greenville Group, but obviously is also connected to the BLM hate stalking psychopaths in this building that refuse to leave people who they don't like alone. There is an immediate and direct connection between the BLM activists that are being really disruptive and loud and visible in and around this building complex on a daily, if not hourly basis, and Jasmine Irizarry, the paid sponsored career criminal harasser who seems to be their IT sort of coordinator, if you want to put it that way. Mr. Oleg Alexeyev, the crooked Russian slumlord property manager, has made multiple comments praising Jasmine Irizarry's cybercrime abilities. When I have gone to him asking for help with the fact that she keeps interfering with the functionality and usability of my electronic devices, Mr. Alexeyev, instead of offering some kind of assistance, bragged verbally to my face that Ms. Irizarry is a super talented hacker who, as he put it, can hack into anything, can get into anything. And on another occasion, he said she can take care of any problem. When you take care of a problem, it means you make it go away. When you solve a problem, you find a solution to it that is constructive. When your property manager keeps bragging about a career criminal who makes problems go away, then you should maybe be concerned, because that means that you might be one of those problems. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, I just got confirmation because as I was mentioning this while talking in the privacy of this living space on my private cell phone, that is obviously not private, I was just literally blasted by the same directed energy device that I am talking about on this phone right now in real time. So this piece of shit directly below 76 is Jasmine Irizarry. Nobody else has been able to engage in this type of sustained, constant, 24-hour per day harassment and surveillance-based stalking and violence and harm for a continuous 11 years. There have been other psychos who have been placed in Unit 88, these malignant male sex offenders like Michael Collins and Jason DaCosta and Mark Collins, all pedophiles, all compulsive masturbating, surveillance using pieces of shit. And by surveillance using, I mean they are able to have knowledge of what I do in the privacy of my living space on a moment-by-moment basis, which means they have some kind of an app on their cell phone or something where they get to perv and creep all over what people do in their bathrooms. Oh, God. Yeah, so as I'm mentioning this, Irizarry, the psycho pig, suddenly blasted me with her directed energy weapon. So you know what? It's time to take everyone to court. I have a little bit of free time on my hands these days. I've got a part-time employment position, which is not full-time. So I do have time to start filing restraining orders. And as I mentioned in the 3 voicemails I left for the Greenville Group between, I think it was 7:30 this evening and just 10 minutes ago, the fact that the Greenville Group has been ignoring and deliberately defending Jasmine Irizarry whenever I've made mention of her constant surveillance-based aggression and harassment, and they have refused to move her to a more appropriate housing facility that would be better suited for homicidal sex offenders and psychopaths like herself, well, that means that now they are directly involved in her activities. When they refuse to do anything or to respond in any way, it means that they are complicit in her criminal behavior, her constant harassment that is surveillance-based, and they themselves have admitted to the use of surveillance devices in this living space because they think it's legal. As the landlords and property owners, they think they have the right to place surveillance devices in the bathrooms of female tenants. They've even defended their use of that, and they're not shy about admitting that that's what they're doing. So either they've been given a free pass on this type of criminal activity by the local police department, which is entirely possible. They could have just paid off the local police station. The E13 has been really useless over the last 10 years about these types of things. They literally don't really do anything unless you're bleeding from the head from a gunshot wound. It's possible that the Greenville Group have paid off the E13, or they're just stupidly assuming that it is perfectly legal for them to do that when it's not. So I can take everybody to court. I'm going to have the most fun taking Jasmine Irizarry to court because when you subpoena somebody or you request that they come to court, you file a charge against them. And I'll be filing charges directly against Jasmine Irizarry as well as against the management team of the Greenville Group she has to show up in court. She has to defend herself. And because she's a criminally insane piece of shit that spends her time perving and creeping all over phone screens, violently slamming things below my bed, and smoking intense amounts of cigar smoke and marijuana smoke, her chances of adequately defending herself in court as a sovereign and rational individual are zero. So I'm going to start with taking her to court, because if this is how she thinks and acts, then she can't even defend herself to save her life. I'm interested in seeing what she will say in front of a judge. So there we go. Just for the record, that's what's going on at 2 a.m. on a Sunday. Thanks to the corrupt criminal slumlord. The Kritnik family, who I have been informed are sponsoring Jasmine Irizarry. Oleg Alexeyev, who keeps bragging to me that she's such a talented hacker. She can hack into anything. She can get into anything. Irizarry itself, who keeps bragging that she's getting paid $300,000 to use a directed energy weapon, and that she is aiming it at my head, which is exactly where I've been experiencing this electronic assault almost continuously for the last 12 hours now. It's amazing that I can even remember my own name. I mean, I'm having a hard time talking right now because I'm a little tired, but I can still think, which is amazing because she has been using this directed energy weapon pointed directly at my head. You know it's a directed energy weapon when it feels like your head is being squeezed tighter and tighter and tighter, and you have constant eyeball popping head pressure, which has nothing to do with any headache. Head pressure is not a headache, it's head pressure. It means something outside of your head is causing a pressurized situation in and around your head. And it feels like your eyeballs are about to pop out. That's not a headache. That is a directed energy weapon. And it has been so activity specific, meaning it suddenly comes at you like out of the blue. One moment you're trying to use a toilet, the next your head is about to explode, that it's obviously an external phenomenon and not some kind of health issue that you're experiencing. So I'm going to say that again. When something comes at you from one moment to the next, where, for instance, you're sitting on your toilet trying to use a toilet, because that's when Irizarry likes to electronically assault me, and she's been doing this for years. I've been reporting it for years. She gets all violent and agitated when I try to use a toilet in my bathroom, and then she starts using her directed energy weapon. Well, you know it's a directed energy weapon when one moment you're perfectly fine and you're just trying to pee, and then the next moment your head is about to explode and your eyeballs are about to pop out and your ears are ringing and you feel like you just got hit in the head by a 2x4. It's very moment by moment and activity specific. So you know it's not a health issue. You know you're not experiencing an actual headache. That is an external physical assault.